It is a pleasure. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me, as always.
It does not seem genuine when he says it somehow. It seems like he doesn't mean it.
You're my friend, yaar. I'm always happy.
Yaar, formality mat karo, bhai. Formality mat karo. But no, how have you been, man? We haven't spoken in a very long time, and today I'm hoping to talk about Iran and Israel. That's one of the things I want to take up because I spent a lot of time with my Israeli friend on this trip, and things are concerning. Things are not minimized.
Yeah.
My perception of being Indian, even when I went back in 2017 and now to America, it's a radically different world for being Indian around the world.
is, yeah.
The perception of India is radically different. Although I do think Indians overestimate the perception, at least right-wing sort of discourse on Twitter will overestimate that. But we are major player now. We're not minor players, at least in
See, we don't overestimate it in terms of people knowing about it. ठीक है, क्योंकि लोगों का जानना ना जानना इस बात से भी डिपेंड करता है कि हाउ कनेक्टेड दे आर टू विद पॉलिटिक्स, हाउ वेल दे आर टॉट अबाउट द वर्ल्ड अफेयर्स एंड ऑल दोज अदर थिंग्स. ठीक है, इंडिया में भी अभी इफ़ आई गो टू रूरल एरियाज दे वोंट नो अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स अबाउट अमेरिका और से इंग्लैंड, बट इट डजंट मीन दैट दे आर नॉट द मेजर प्लेयर्स. लोगों का परसेप्शन कुड बी एनीथिंग, राइट? What we are estimating is our standing as a government with other governments. कि बाकी देश जैसे let's say अभी तो Trump is again the president. So how the American administration, the government takes India, considers India. So our concern, our estimation is about that only. It's not about how much people know how popular we are in the West. So there is a difference and a distinction that has to be made.
pedestrian perception as far as that goes.
Let's put it this way. We're still middling players. The right wing thinks we're Superman.
Yeah,
The left wing thinks we're Adolf Hitler.
right. I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the real estimation is we're middling players. And the reason we're given the deference closer to the right wing's perception of us as Superman rather than the left wing's perception is because India isn't the sort of diffident, inferiority complex ridden country it was 15, 20 years back. So a lot of countries are willing to massage our ego a bit.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we should lose our realism and start thinking we're Superman.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I agree. That part I agree. Like when I'm in America and somebody calls me and they're like, Modi ji is in America, how is people's perception? I'm like, nobody knows. The Indians know. The Gujaratis on the East Coast, they all know. But that's about like us, we'll know, NRIs will know, but nobody really cares. So that
About why do we care about people's perception? We don't care about people's perception. Business हमें गवर्नमेंट के साथ करना है, कंपनीज के साथ करना है. ठीक है, people's का perception and especially the sample size that he is dealing with does not really matter.
I do understand what you're saying. And I think, yeah, you're right. The realism is that we're probably middling players going up and certain geopolitical events might happen that might propel us further. And my bet is, okay, this is my theory. You might find me very wrong. I spent a lot of time I had a lot of friends in college who were military men. My college in Columbia is a college for people who are older and going into undergrads. So a lot of actors, a lot of ballet dancers and a lot of military men show up. And then there's idiots like myself. So I was surrounded by a lot of military men from Israel because all of Israel goes through conscription and they're 21 when they come out. So they apply to this college. This is their only, or one of their only channels into Ivy League education. So 20-30% military men were from Israel and then 20-30% were from America. ठीक है, सारे वो 5 साल का contract खत्म करके आते हैं. And this happened on 2 occasions, bro. So one of my closest friends is a Jewish guy, fights for the Israeli military. He's like a brother to me. And I mean this in as many ways as I can say it. He is legitimately like a brother to me. Like my biggest concern is his safety, right?
But of course, I'm your husband.
Well, bro, I'll let you have what you want. But don't grope me, okay?
You groped me, Haramzade.
So, but you don't grope me. That's not allowed. You are going to follow my orders.
Ooh, kinky. I love it.
He responds. Anyway.
Will you be tying me up and
Bro,
whipping
come
me
on,
after
shut up.
this?
Focus on the issue. So I was talking to him, bro, and he would bring up World War III quite a bit. And I'm not much for this paranoia or this sort of chest thumping. Oh my God, this is coming. You know, the sensationalism.
So let me contextualize this. You know, every country has a self-image of itself out of proportion with reality. You'll keep hearing Americans say we're the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
What does that mean in practical terms?
Right.
Britain was the greatest empire on earth.
Right. What does it mean in practical terms?
Roman Empire was the greatest empire. What the hell, man?
Right.
China is a force for civilization, the Chinese way, whatever nonsense. India, Vishwa Guru. किस चीज का गुरु है तू? ठीक है?
It's a self-image thing.
It's a self-image thing. So, you know, Israel thinks that what it does has global repercussions and whatever. We need to understand this is a localized conflict.
You don't think it'll... Because you are also not just fighting against... Well, first of all, I think Palestine will become very irrelevant in this debate now that Iran's entered, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But you don't think that the global Muslim Brotherhood is going to take up arms if this keeps going on?
First, this notion of a global Muslim Brotherhood.
I know it's fractionated, but
Completely.
But you don't think strategically Israel, as it keeps pushing against Lebanon, then Iran, then the Gazan sort of deep victims, these little babies and so on, eventually a Turkey, a Pakistan, Yemen and all these countries will begin to respond?
First, Yemen is a non-functional state.
Sure.
Pakistan abhi भिखारी हैं.
But nuclear armed Bikhari.
Yeah, but they will use the nuclear only for themselves. Understand? That is a very self-interested... they don't even allow their own countrymen to grow. It is a bunch of 200 families that has controlled all the wealth and kept it to themselves.
They're a feudalist state, but they're still serious military, no?
They're a very serious military.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But their foreign policy is all about protecting the investment of the 200
people.
Okay.
Right.
Turkey again. Lots of bluster, very little action. The amount they can be compromised because of the amount of technology Israel supplies to NATO arms, F-16s and planes like that Turkey uses is enormous. So that's a natural check on them. Hamas is essentially a Muslim Brotherhood offshoot, kind of. Not exactly. I'm not going to get into the nuance of that. Egypt hates the Muslim Brotherhood. General Sisi came to power by removing the Muslim Brotherhood from power. Mohammed Morsi was the president, throwing him in jail, and the man died in jail.
Okay.
Was possibly killed off in jail. He has zero tears for Gaza. Okay, all his tanks are not facing the Israeli border; they're actually facing the Gazan border. They don't want Israelis to cross the border less than they don't want Gazans to cross the border.
That is a known paradox of
Jordan.
Jordan.
Their biggest worry, because they're 70% Palestinian. Jordan is the only country where the immigrants are more than the native Bedu. The queen considers herself a refugee. Have you ever heard of a queen considering herself a refugee? Queen of Jordan, enormous wealth, goes for multi-million-dollar shopping trips to London. I'm a refugee and I'm Palestinian. Okay, congratulations to you. Public में गाली देते रहते हैं for public consumption. In private, when Iran attacks Israel like it did in April with a multi-drone strike.
Right, yeah.
This time it was ballistic, that time it was drone. All the Jordanian F-16 fighters are up in the air defending Israel. Okay. Syria, dysfunctional completely. Lebanon, the Christians hate the Shias out there. They don't talk about it because Hezbollah will kill them. You know, Lebanon, there are more Lebanese outside Lebanon than there are in Lebanon. There are more Lebanese in Brazil than there are in Lebanon.
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil.
Strange, huh?
Yeah. And overwhelmingly Christian, by the way. Lebanon is one of those countries where it's been condomized in that sense. First, the Sunni Palestinian refugees overwhelmed the population and turned it into a base for Palestinian terrorism.
Basically, the whole point is there is no global Muslim Brotherhood. They're all fighting against each other.
So Lebanon got invaded. Then Hezbollah took it over and turned it into a base for Shia terrorism. And now Israel is back in again to destroy them again. Lebanon, ठीक है. Iraq,
Dysfunctional.
the Bahrainis, Saudis, Emiratis, Omanis are all quietly standing behind and clapping,
And making money dealing with Israel.
dealing
Yeah.
with Israel. Their intelligence cooperation with Israel. And intelligence is more addictive than, I don't know, is cocaine very addictive? Or I think opioids. Heroin is addictive,
Yeah.
no? More than heroin or more than crystal meth. Because once you start getting quality intelligence, it becomes so valuable, you can never give it up. And Israel provides them with so much intel, both electronic intelligence, military intelligence, and tactical intelligence that they don't want to sever. That is too important a relationship for them, which is why they even refuse. MBS has gone to the extent of saying, I care about what happens in Saudi Arabia, not what happens in Palestine. The Emiratis,
The Gulf is a different...
Emiratis are flying. Fly Dubai is the only airline. They don't care what alerts come, what missile attack comes. Fly Dubai keeps flying flights 8 times a day to Tel Aviv. It is Israel's favorite destination going east now. Has become Fly Dubai and Emirates. Okay, the Qataris are playing every game. They're a malignant actor that's playing every game. It's probably the only powerful. But they also talk to the Israelis in private, not cordially, but fine. Bolte rehte hain. Iran is the big.
Bro, you can't go over 60. There's 60 Muslim countries, no?
Yeah, 60. All of them count for nothing. There are,
So Prakhar thought he's gonna go over every country and say and eliminate them one by one.
I'm only talking about the major countries.
Okay.
Indonesia. Let's take the really major country, Indonesia.
Okay.
Okay. They've washed their hands clean of this. They're like, yeah, we support Gaza and all of that, but actual action mein kuch bhi nahi. So what do you have left? Iran is the only man standing left. The Central Asian states don't care. Azerbaijan has an extremely close military relationship with Israel,
right.
which the Armenians really resent.
Right.
The Central Asian republics don't give a damn.
Uzbek, Kazakh, they don't care.
They don't give a
They're
damn.
a very different kind of Muslim also. They're very like free-flowing.
The Sudan has diplomatic relations with Israel. They don't give a damn. Morocco, Tunisia, kuch suna hai. They don't. They're all keeping quiet.
So you were saying it's a one-sided war at this point?
It's a completely one-sided.
And will you admit that this is war?
And here's the thing: if Israel hits Iran, nobody will be happier than the Emiratis, Bahrainis, and Saudis.
All Sunnis would be very happy.
Not just Sunnis. The Sunni monarchies will be very happy. Because understand, the Islamic revolution in Iran and the Muslim Brotherhood started first. They wanted a theocratic state. I can go into the philosophies of Hassan al-Banna and Sayyid Qutb and all of that. This is not a thing on
Like we don't have to get into
on
the
political
Islamic
Islam.
theology,
But it started off that kings need to be removed and Arab republicanism came, like Nasser. Arab republicanism was deemed too secular and dirty by the Muslim Brotherhood, so they wanted a theocratic republic,
Right.
which they were not really able to achieve anywhere. Shia Iran achieved it first through the 1979 revolution.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is all these countries, all the monarchies, detested the Muslim Brotherhood. They detested secular revolution as well. But they detested Muslim revolution even more because their source of legitimacy comes from the fact that they protect the Quran. The sultans believe they have religious blessing to be where they are.
Right.
So this undermines not just their control over society, but all their religious validation for it. So they hated the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood never managed to achieve that revolution. In Iran, it did. It was the Shia version of it.
Right.
So they immediately isolated. That is where the re-eruption of the Shia-Sunni schism emerges. And they see it as both a religious threat to them and a systemic political threat to them. They are extremely happy when the Muslim Brotherhood gets bombed and killed, as they are in Gaza. They are also extremely happy when any other person who espouses Muslim Brotherhood style theocracy over king ideas, theocratic republic over or in substitute for king's ideas. Anywhere that succeeds, if it gets bombed, these guys are supremely happy. They have done absolutely nothing to impede Israel in any form or way. In private, they're sitting and encouraging them.
Brother, ये questions और ये podcast सुन के आपके भी दिमाग के चक्षु खुले ना. So subscribe to this so that you can watch our podcast.